I bet Jenny was happy to have you.
She is, yeah.
Yeah. That's always a big adjustment for always.
I think I'm home more than she is. She's still going to
Thanks for
Disney.
making this so fun.
Hey, Rose, you might want to mute your phone.
Actually, I keep my phone for you probably heard me talk. Yes.
Can everybody online hear us?
I can hear you, Jeff.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was hearing background noise. I thought maybe it was Rose, but then it looked like she was connecting rather.
Are you getting any feedback now? Or are we good?
You're good now. Thank
All
you.
right. Rose, are you ready? Got the recording on? It's already started. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you all to the May 11th meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. My name is Jeff Carson. I'll be serving as chair tonight. I'll make a few introductions before we get started. Here with me in the chambers tonight, I have Commissioner Dwayne Beth, Commissioner Trenton Fogelsberg, and Commissioner Aaron Ward. Online, we have Vice Chair Karen Jones, Commissioner Mark Moeller, Commissioner Jake Miller. I believe that's it for tonight. We also have the following staff members present. We have legal counsel, Michael Farley, Byron Toy, Osiris Espinosa. We have Rose Morris, and we have Rodney Lucas and Mari Monheil. So with that, I'm going to turn everything over to Rose Morris. She'll read the opening statement on how we're going to run tonight's meeting, and we'll get started.
Welcome, everyone, to the meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Members of the board are participating remotely by Zoom or present in the commission chamber. Mr. Jeff Carson is serving as chairman this evening. Please note the following instructions for the meeting. If you're joining by Zoom, please make sure you have an appropriate background. For those members of the public attending the meeting virtually this evening, please use the raise your hand feature when you want to speak on an application. If you're present in the commission chamber, please come to the microphone at the front of the room when your application is called. After the chairman recognizes you, please state your name and address and make your comments. If you're having issues getting to the Zoom meeting, please see the Planning and Urban Design website on wicokck.org. Proper meeting decorum is expected of all participating in the meeting, and anyone who fails to act properly may be removed from the meeting. The city reserves the right to discontinue a meeting if any improper behavior occurs, which prevents the uninterrupted conduct of business. The format of this evening's meeting is as follows. First, the applicant will be given 15 minutes to make an opening statement explaining the proposal, which includes the applicant, consultants, and other members of the applicant's team. Members of the board will then address questions towards the applicant. Any persons wishing to speak in favor will be recognized and allowed to do so at that time. Then those in opposition will be recognized and make their statements and ask questions. Each member of the public will be given 5 minutes to express their opinions, and time may not be shared between speakers. A speaker's time may be extended in 5 minute intervals by a 2/3 majority vote of the board. The chairman will ask for a show of hands of people who are in support and opposition who do not wish to speak. Then the applicant will answer questions and make a closing statement. The public hearing portion of the meeting will be closed, and the public will only be allowed to address the board if a question is directed towards them. Then the board will discuss the application and make their decision with a brief statement of the reason of the motion making the proceeding of the motion. Motions to approve shall include the staff conditions unless otherwise stated in the motion. We'll go on to our first case for this evening, which is BOZA 2026-004, Heather Hitchcock. It is a variance to not screen mechanical equipment, of a building addition for an office and shop space at 5323 Kansas Avenue. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No.
No.
Yes, ma'am. Your name and address, please, and tell us what you'd like to do.
Yeah. I'm Heather Hitchcock, and I'm with Davidson Architecture and Engineering, 4301 Indian Creek Parkway, Overland Park, Kansas. And tonight I have with me Dan Harper. He is with the J.E. Foster Building Company. He's the GC for the project as well as the ownership representative. We are seeking a variance tonight for rooftop screening. 100% is what we're desiring. First, I'd like to say that we are and we respect zoning ordinances and understand why they're in place. However, this specific case, we are asking the board to take a closer look at the specific site location, the surrounding properties and uses and conditions of the area. The site is located in the comprehensive plan area for industrial uses, ranging from small to large industrial projects, manufacturing, and outdoor storage. These uses are often more intensive in characteristics such as heavy truck traffic, excessive noise, potentially noxious impacts, etc. And the surrounding properties do, in fact, reflect those uses. Requiring this project to receive and provide rooftop screening would not really benefit the public on this site, just because it's an industrial use and it's not as sensitive to other locations around the city, such as residential or business parks. We did discuss screening in July of 2025 during the early plan reviewing process with the city staff and planning commission. At that time, we understood that the requirements of this screening, but as the design process continued, we evaluated potential methods of compliance and design through the process. After that meeting and further analysis and analyzing and really looking at the character of the neighborhood and the surrounding properties, the owner has decided to reconsider the feasibility request. This is not an intent to disregard prior comments, but rather to seek consideration of whether strict compliance is necessary given the specific circumstances and nature of this zoning district and surrounding uses. Our team does not believe that granting this variance would adversely impact adjacent property owners or alter the character of the surrounding industrial area. Rooftop mechanical screening is not present in this area, and there's also existing industrial equipment and uses around, such as the BSF in rail yard to the south of our property. So we would respectfully request that the reviewing body consider this variance based on the overall context of the project and specific site rather than just a broader precedent for future developments. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Any questions from anyone? Okay, I guess I'll start. So you are aware of the regulations, the rules, and then after going through the design process, the owner decided that they just didn't want to follow them, correct?
Based on their neighbor.
They reconsidered doing it.
Yeah.
So I guess we could reconsider issuing any permits for the building of the structure, correct? I mean, I guess we could.
Mhm.
So they understood what was required, but they've chosen now that they just decide they don't want to. What other facilities near your building is new or relatively new? Because a lot of those facilities have been built a long time ago when those rules were not in place. How do we change the rules, upgrade the process if everybody wants to go back to 1950 when the last building was built?
That's fair.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I
I
understand.
mean, that's what we're here tonight to talk about is,
Right.
you know, we don't ever evolve and change and grow and you know, evolve into a better community if we don't change the rules, upgrade the facilities and things like that.
Correct.
Okay.
I understand.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, we'll go to the audience. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please raise your hand if you're online or come forward if you're in the chambers. Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to staff to get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy, Planning Department. Staff does not feel that this complies with condition number 1. This property is not unique. There are industrial buildings, to the applicant's point, that are within this area that are not screened. The ages of those buildings range from 1950s, 1970s, which at that time that screening was not required. There are many buildings that are new, whether they're additions or brand new buildings that are on Kansas Avenue, Speaker Road, Caw Drive, Fairfax area that we do, when we do get these new buildings, we do require the rooftop mechanical equipment to be screened from public view. With that, staff recommends denial.
All right. Questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion when ready. Commissioner Jones?
Motion to deny Boza case 2026-004 based on noncompliance with statutory requirements.
All right, thank you. Motion made for denial by Vice Chairman Jones based on the fact that it does not comply with the rules and regulations set forth. Is there a second? Okay, that motion dies for lack of a second. Anyone?
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve BOZA 2026-004, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, motion for approval made by Commissioner Ward. Is there a second? That motion dies for a second. Be a long night.
Figure it out. Let's go.
Is there another motion?
I'll go back and make Vice Chair Jones' motion. Hopefully she'll second it, just so we can get a vote and see where people are gonna stand on this.
All right, so that motion is for denial. Is that correct, Commissioner Miller,
Yeah.
for the same reasons?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Vice Chairman Jones. Is there a discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
No.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
No.
okay, motion carries 4-2.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Our next case is BOZA 2026-006. Carl Stover. It is a variance for a deck that projects into the side yard setback at 800 North 80th Terrace. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Mr. Stover. Once again, your name and address. Tell us what you'd like to do here.
Carl Stover, 800 North 80th Terrace, Kansas City, Kansas. And what was the other part of the question?
I'm sorry, tell us what you wanting to, well, I guess in your case, you've already done it to your property.
Yes, sir.
Explain what you've done and why we're here tonight to talk about it.
I just added a porch to my house to help make my life or my wife's life easier with her conditions at the time. But she's gone now. But I just added a porch, man.
Okay, so it's my understanding you added a front porch, but you also added a side porch.
Yeah, it's there on the side. Yes,
Okay, and when was that done?
I did it about 2 years ago. I did it. Yes,
Okay, and permits were not obtained at that time?
not at that time.
Okay, and that had a ramp, I think I saw
Yes,
when I was, okay,
across the front.
all right. Okay, I think that's all the questions I have at this time. Anyone else have any questions for the applicant? So what you're doing is you're seeking a variance for the work that you already done.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Miller.
Not to get too into the personal weeds and anything, but I'm assuming your wife needed some wheelchair help or something, it looks like by the design?
Yes, she was having problems walking.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Jones.
I'm just curious, how did the need for this variance come about? What's the background?
Staff, do you want to step in and explain that?
Yes, thanks. Byron Toy Planning Department. So there was a stop work order posted on the property for the construction of this porch, both of the front yard, into the front yard and the side yard. That then, because the permits were not obtained, attempted to apply for permits, well, we need a variance first because of where the projection was in the side yard setback. Hence, we are here tonight.
So it's the side yard that's presenting us with the
The
problem.
side yard, not the front yard, it's the side yard. That's the issue.
Other questions of the applicant? Okay, seeing none. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please come forward. Yes, sir. Your name and address.
J. Paul Moore in the fourth, 6531 Fifth Street, Overland Park, Kansas, 66202. I just want to add that This particular property has a unique set of circumstances. It was platted back in 1953, and the house was constructed at about that time. At that time, it had a different side yard setback. The present zoning ordinance setback is actually 3.5 feet into the house. So denying this variance would, in effect, render the only entrance to his house useless. Other than that, I think Mr. Silver did a good job of explaining what we are here to see.
All right.
I
Anyone
do
else?
have 3 additional letters of support that were signed by the neighbors.
Okay. Do we have a copy of those, Rose?
They were, I'm sorry, they were just obtained after the meeting that we held at Mr. Silver's house.
All right. You can go ahead and provide those to the clerk. All right. Thank you. Anyone else want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand if you're online or come forward if you're in the chambers. All right. Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and go to staff and get their comment. And could you address the speaker's comment about the current setback and intruding into the actual house? And is that a true statement?
Barnesville Planning Department, thank you. So in looking at it's kind of grainy to see on this screen here, but you can kind of see where there's a side yard corner setback since this is on a corner lot. So south property line has a 5-foot utility easement, a platted easement. Then there's a 20-foot platted setback line, and there appears to be a 25-foot, at least based on this survey that was provided, 25-foot side yard corner setback, which is where what we have today as far as this 25-foot corner setback for our zoning ordinance. So back when this house was built, to the individual's point that just spoke, is that there is a 20-foot platted building line that initially was created when this subdivision was platted, apparently back in the 50s, I presume. Is that what you were saying? So it looks as though, yes, the 25-foot side yard corner setback would be projecting into the house as it sits today.
All right.
So does that help answer your question?
Yep.
Okay.
And could you just go ahead and with your recommendations?
Absolutely. So unfortunately, because the applicant built the porch without first obtaining permit, we have to recommend now because the action was done prior to obtaining the actual variance itself. So staff recommends now. We do have conditions for approval should you choose to approve this, but staff does recommend now.
All right. Thank you. Questions for staff?
I got a question.
Commissioner Beth?
Can you put you had the before pictures and the after pictures up there?
So this is the before. And that's the after.
I don't know who did the porch, but it looks like a big improvement.
No dispute.
That's all I had.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Seeing none, I will stand for, I'm sorry, Commissioner Miller.
I was just gonna do a motion.
Go ahead, Commissioner Miller.
Move to approve, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right. It's been motion.
Second.
All right. Motion for approval made by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Commissioner Ward. I'm assuming you don't need to speak anymore, right? We're on the right path. I would suggest you not.
Not at this point.
All right. Thank you. All right. Moved and seconded for approval. Motion was from Miller to approve and from Ward for the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Fogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
The motion carries 6-0.
All right. And I want to just clarify that motion to approve was with the staff recommendations for approval. Is that correct, Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. You're good.
Thanks, guys.
Our next case is BOZA 2026-007, Kim Hyun. It is a variance for a minimum rear yard setback at 938 Locust Avenue. This is in conjunction with Plat 2026-016, which is going to be heard later tonight. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Is the applicant available? Kim Hyun? Okay, I've got Crystal Voth. Crystal, are you representing the applicant on this case?
Hi, good evening, Chairman. Yes, I am. Crystal Voth, Atlas Land Consulting, 14500 Parallel Suite R, Baser, Kansas, 66007. Thank you for the opportunity this evening to present this case. I appreciate staff's help through this process. As you can see, this lot is pretty large. 938 Locust Avenue, Boza 2026. Oh gosh, I just lost it. Will you put that back up so we go back one, Byron? Yeah, 2026-007. Sorry, making sure we're on the same page. This lot is pretty large, as you can see. It's about double the size of all of the other lots in this area. You can also see that the house was built right smack dab in the middle of the lot. The house was built in 1948, long before zoning regulations impacted this particular part of the city. Ms. Hune desires to divide this property essentially in two. In doing so, she does have enough land area and she has enough road frontage there on South 9th Terrace that she can do that and meet the minimum zoning district regulations, but then she will be encroaching upon, the existing house would encroach upon the rear setback. And so we're asking for a variance to that rear setback requirement so that a house could be built to the north of the existing home. She did inquire about using the narrow lot guidelines in order to build an accessory dwelling unit on the property, but given the layout of the lot as it currently exists, she can't do that either. And so we thought that asking for a variance to that rear setback would be appropriate given the pretty large lot that we have here. And in doing so, it's still in conformance with the rest of the neighborhood. The lots that would result would be very similar in nature to what's already existing. And the variance that's being asked for is effectively the only property that would be impacted by it is the property owner who is currently asking for the variance. So that's kind of our plea in a nutshell. It seemed like this was the only route we could really go in order to try to build a second house in this neighborhood, which is a pretty desirable neighborhood to be in. And she just would like to make the most of this pretty large lot that she has. I'll answer any questions that you may have, but I'll quit talking now so we can move on.
All right, just real quickly, how much backyard, I'm sorry, because I can't see it this far away. How much essentially from the back of the property to the new property line would there be? And then how big will the new lot turn out to be?
So the new lot will be almost exactly what I think 65 feet across, if I remember correctly. We've got that plat because we did submit that.
Right.
And then I'm sorry, Byron, can you zoom in there? I think it's like 15 feet from the rear property line, if memory serves me correctly.
15 feet. All right. I think that's what Commissioner Ward's closer to the screen than I am. I think that's what he's saying. All right. So 15 feet and then the new lot would be 65 feet wide, correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? It's representative. All right. Seeing none. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand if you're online. Come forward if you're in the chambers. Not seeing anyone. We'll go ahead and close the public portion of the meeting, go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron to the Planning Department. Staff recommends approval subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
make a motion to approve BOZA 2026-007, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve BOZA case 2026-007 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Jones. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 6-0.
All right, thank you. That does conclude our Board of Zoning Appeals agenda. We will convene the City Planning Commission in about 5 minutes. Thank you all. Get my camera turned back on. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry for the delay. I'm going to welcome you all to the May 11th meeting of the City Planning Commission. My name is Jeff Carson. I'm going to be serving as chair of tonight's meeting. Before we get started, we'll make a few introductions. Here in the chambers with me tonight are Commissioners Dwayne Beth, Aaron Ward, and Trenton Fogelsberg. Joining us online are Vice Chair Karen Jones and Commissioners Jake Miller, Mark Moeller, and Jim Ernst. And along with us here tonight in the chambers, we have Michael Farley with Unified Government Legal Counsel to my left, along with staff from the Unified Government Planning and Urban Design Department, Rodney Lucas, Byron Toy, Lucides Espinosa, Mari Monheil, and Rose Morris, who'll be announcing the cases this evening. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rose, and she'll read the opening statement on how we're going to run tonight's meeting. We'll get started.
Hello, welcome to the meeting of the City Planning Commission. Members are participating remotely by Zoom or in person or in the commission chamber. Jeff Carson is serving as chairman this evening. Please note the following instructions for the meeting. If you're joining by Zoom, please make sure you have an appropriate background. For those members of the public attending the meeting virtually this evening, please use the raise your hand feature when you want to speak on an application. If you're present in the commission chamber, please come to the microphone at the front of the room when the application is called. After the chairman recognizes you, please state your name and address and make your comments. If you're having issues getting into the Zoom meeting, please see the Planning and Urban Design website on wicokck.org. Proper meeting decorum is expected of all participating in the meeting, and anyone who fails to act properly may be removed from the meeting. The city reserves the right to discontinue a meeting if any improper behavior occurs, which prevents the uninterrupted conduct of business. The Planning Commission is a voluntary body of citizens which will review each zoning proposal. For all change of zones, special use permits, vacations, and preliminary plan reviews on tonight's agenda, the Planning Commission makes recommendations to the Unified Government Board of Commissioners, who will then make their final decisions on Thursday, May 28th, 2026. For final plats and final plan reviews for tonight, the Planning Commission's decision is final, and there will not be another hearing. The format of this evening's meeting is as follows. First, the applicant will be given 15 minutes to make an opening statement explaining the proposal, which includes the applicant, consultants, and other members of the applicant's team. Members of the commission may then address questions to the applicant. Then any persons wishing to speak in favor will be recognized and allowed to do so at that time. Then those in opposition will be recognized to make their statements and ask questions. Each member of the public will be given 5 minutes to express their opinions, and time may not be shared between speakers. A speaker's time may be extended in 5-minute intervals by a two-thirds majority vote of the commission. Then the applicant will answer questions and make a closing statement. The public hearing portion of the meeting will be closed, and the public will only be able to address the commission if a question is directed towards them. Finally, the Planning Commission will discuss the application and make their recommendation. If those in opposition want to formally protest a change of zone, a means is available by a legal protest petition, which can be obtained by emailing the Planning and Urban Design website at planninginfo@wicokck.org tomorrow morning. Any application receiving a unanimous vote of recommendation by the Planning Commission will appear on the consent agenda of the Unified Government Board of Commissioners, unless there is a request to remove an item from the consent agenda by the applicant, commission, or other interested parties. The Planning Commission's recommendation will be adopted. The consent agenda will be heard at the beginning of the meeting at 5:30 p.m. The Planning Commission will also have a consent agenda this evening. The consent agenda is the first part of the agenda. Items on the consent agenda are final plats, final plans, and special use permit renewals that I received a staff recommendation to approved. Unless there is a request to remove an item from the consent agenda, the staff recommendation on all the items on the consent agenda will be adopted by the Planning Commission at one time. I will read a list of agenda items that are on the consent agenda, and when I have completed the list, the chairman will ask if there's any request to remove items. This is your time to use the raise your hand feature, be recognized, and request that an item be removed from the consent agenda if you do not agree with the staff's recommendation. If you are in the consent agenda, or if you're in the commission chamber, please come to the microphone, state your name and address and the item you want to remove from the consent agenda. The Planning Commission is required to disclose contacts on any item in the Planning Commission agenda. Before each item, I will ask if any contacts have been made, and members of the commission will be asked to disclose those contacts. Please note that your opinions will be forwarded to the governing body for their consideration and making a final decision on Thursday, May 28th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. I will now read the items on the consent agenda. Consideration of the April 14th, 2026 City Planning Commission minutes. SP 2026-022, Guy Holbert, a special use permit for a truck leasing, rental, and repair shop at 11 North James Street. SP 2026-023, Chad Wolf, special use permit for stockpiling and of excavating materials at 1911 Fox Ridge Drive. SP 2026-024, Cynthia Nielsen and John Daniels, is a special use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental at 3030 North 64th Street. SP 2026-026, Dan Doty with Blue Palm, special use permit for a drinking establishment with live entertainment at 204 Orchard Street. SP 2026-028, Jeffrey Hollenshed, special use permit for an event venue with live entertainment at 2001 to 2005 North 5th Street. Plat 2025-044, PR 2025-043, Carter Buck. It is a final plat and final plan review for a residential duplex at 1216 North 86th Street. Plat 2026-016, Kim Hyun. It is a final plat to divide one lot into two lots at 938 Locust Avenue. Plat 2026-017, Carlos Acevedo. Final plat to replat two lots at 3143 and 3145 North 48th Street. Plat 2026-18 and PR 2026-006, PMG Asset Services, is a final plat and final plan review for Hollywood Casino Hotel at 501 Speedway Boulevard. Plat 2026-019, Raj Bhatia, and PR 2026-007. It is a final plat and final plan review for a 24-unit townhome at 700 North 75th Street. The items I have just read are on the consent agenda. At this time, does any member of the commission have any contacts to disclose on those items?
No.
Okay, please note the following items as part of record for the agenda tonight. The city has currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the official zoning map for the areas in question. The city has currently adopted master plans for the area in question. The staff reports and attachments dated May 11th, 2026. The application of their documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. The commission will vote on all of these items unless someone requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Is anyone on the commission would like to have an item removed from the consent agenda? Please raise your hand. All right, seeing no one. Anyone in the audience want an item removed from the consent agenda for special consideration? Please come forward if you're in the chambers or raise your hand if you're online. Okay, seeing no one, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Jones.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as noted on our agenda.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented made by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Beth?
Aye.
Ward?
Aye.
Vogelsong?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Moeller?
Aye.
Ernst?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. The special use permits will move on to the Board of Commissioners on May 28th at 5:30. Everything else is approved. Thank you all. If your item was on the consent agenda, you're free to leave unless you want to stay for the show. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move on to the non-consent agenda. Our first item is COZ 2025-033 Tyler Coey. It is a change of zone from R1B Single Family District to R2B Two Family District for a single-family home to be converted into a duplex at 403 Barnett Avenue. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Okay, Mr. Corey?
Mr. Coey's my partner. He's online maybe. I'm Steven.
Okay, yeah, I do have him ready to go also. Mr. Corey, I've got you queued up to speak. Whoever wants to start, go ahead. I'm sorry, it's Coey, correct?
Coey.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, but Steve would be, Steve is great to speak on this, so.
Okay, so Steve, you're great to speak on this, so we're going to go ahead and introduce you first. Go ahead and give us your name and address, and then we'll look forward to your greatness.
Steven Sudicum, 4737 Canyon Lake Drive, Kansas City, Kansas, 66109. We are here today to ask you to again consider our request to change the zoning from this parcel at 403 Barnett Avenue from single-family R1B to the R2B, which would make it a legal duplex. It's actually currently a legal non-conforming use as a duplex, so this is just bringing the zoning in line with that. And we were here previously and you unanimously approved the request, but subsequent to that request, Public Works Engineering has, at our request, been considering the question of whether or not the existing 6-inch sanitary sewer line would be sufficient to meet the needs of the duplex versus putting in a whole new sewer line so that each unit would have its own separate connection to the city's main. It's my understanding, as is represented in the staff report in front of you, that the engineers in Public Works are willing to allow us to move forward with the single 6-inch sanitary sewer line as long as the plumbing meets certain conditions, which I'd be glad to run through, though it would probably be more detailed than you're asking for.
Okay, all right. Anyone have any questions on this application?
I guess I thought that before.
Go ahead, Mr. Commissioner Vogelsberg.
Vogelsong.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I think I denounced it wrong earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry
You
about
have,
that.
but that's okay. It's pretty close. I guess I thought we were waiting for a variance from Public Works. They haven't issued a variance yet.
I submitted the variance to Public Works, and my understanding is that they were good with it, but I'll let them speak to it or staff.
Staff, that would be a condition of approval. Is that correct?
Yes. So at the time this was printed, he requested the waiver, so I couldn't exactly update it, but nonetheless, Fire and Planning Department, Public Works has affirmed that they received the information from Mr. Sudicum and Mr. Coey, and that Ricky Ledgerwood specifically has affirmed that that has been received and they're working on getting that variance, but it is a condition of approval.
All right, thank you. Other questions from the commission? Seeing none, we'll go to the audience. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward if you're in the chambers. Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and go to staff, get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. By Wyandotte Planning Department, staff does recommend approval subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve change of zone application 2025-033, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve change of zone application 2025-033 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Jones. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Beth?
Aye.
Ward?
Aye.
Vogelsong?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Moeller?
Aye.
Ernst?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Great. Thank you. This will be heard once again, May 28th at 5:30 p.m. for the Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
our next case is COZ 2026-001 and MPL 2026-001, Omar Vela. It is a change of zone from R1 Single Family District to AG Agricultural District for the keeping of horses at 320 North 61st Street, and a master plan amendment from low density residential to agricultural at the same address. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Mr. Vila? Are you on? There we go. Crystal Voth, assuming you're speaking on this one also?
Yes, Chairman, thank you very much. Crystal Voth, Atlas Land Consulting, 14500 Parallel Avenue, Basehor, Kansas, 66007. Here representing 320 North 61st Street for change of zone 2026-001 and the master plan amendment 2026-001. We are requesting a change of zone from the R1 zoning district to the agricultural zoning district. We do understand that he can currently have the 2 horses on this property that he desires to have. However, the R1 zoning district prohibits him from being able to build a barn large enough to house the horses and to keep the equipment and such that's necessary to take care of the horses, which is the request for the rezoning. It's really for the ability to build a barn that will be large enough to provide for the horses. I think staff did a great job outlining the request in the staff report. I don't really have anything else to add, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicants, representative? All right, seeing none. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward if you're in the chamber. Also seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy Planning Department. Staff recommends approval subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? All right, we'll need 2 motions. The first one will be on the master plan amendment.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve master plan amendment 2026-001, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve MPL 2026-001 by Commissioner Ward. Is there a second? I got it. Sorry, we'll give it to Commissioner Fogelson. Since I get more I get to say his name, the better I'll get at remembering it correctly. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Beth?
Aye.
Ward?
Aye.
Fogelsong?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Mueller?
Aye.
Ernst?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. And now I'll need one on the change of zone application.
Okay, Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve change of zone application 2026-001, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve change of zone application 2026-001 made by Commissioner Ward. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fogelson. Any discussion? I'm sorry, folks, for the unprofessional behavior of the 2 gentlemen to my right. We'll get it down. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Beth?
Aye.
Ward?
Aye.
Fogelsong?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Mueller?
Aye.
Ernst?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Both of these cases will be heard on May 28th at 5:30 p.m. before the Board of County Commissioners. Thank you.
Okay, our next cases are COZ 2026-005, Caitlin Kincaid, a change of zone from AG Agricultural District to CB2 Planned Business District for a restaurant, along with Plat 2026-015 and Plat PR 2026-005, a final plat and final plan review for a restaurant at 1300 North 98th Street. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Yes, sir. I've been waiting to hear from you all week long. So your name and address.
You may have guessed my name is not Caitlin. My name is Richard Napper on behalf of Homefield, 9250 State Avenue, Kansas City, Kansas. First off, thank you for the time this evening. I have a few brief opening remarks, then I'll turn it over to the Texas Roadhouse team. But as in the past, or the past 4 or 5 years with Homefield, when we've had users in our Star Bond district, I've tried to take the opportunity to give a brief summary and highlight the significance and importance of these users to not only our master plan, but to Wyandotte County and the state of Kansas, given the uniqueness of the Homefield master plan as a destination Star Bond district. Homefield over the past 4+ years has sponsored or brought in for development nearly $500 million in development. Our Homefield youth sports complexes last year in 2025 had approximately 900,000 visits. That does not include the Margaritaville that we finished in under 1 year ago for $150 million. Atlas 9 that opened up less than a year ago. K1 Speed, which is opening up any day now. Hilton Home 2 Suites under construction. And the new Hyundai dealership, which should open up any week now as well. This is a Star Bond district. Texas Roadhouse is noted in our development agreement that was updated and reapproved last fall. Texas Roadhouse is noted in the Star Bond study and in the Star Bond documents for the bonds that were issued by the Unified Government of Wyandotte County last fall. The sooner we have this group under construction, the better, not only for us, Homefield, but also for Wyandotte County, the state of Kansas, and for the bondholders that hold these Star Bonds. A Star Bond district is unique in that we need users to produce revenue and tax not only today and tomorrow, but 10 years from today, 20 years from today. And when you look at what we have assembled on this 400 acres, many of these users, they'll be here in 20 and 30 years. We need that revenue, that consistency to retire these Star Bonds. I've been at this project in one form or another for 13 years. And I have heard from the local community as well as people that have come to the site, whether it's to the Auto Mall, to Margaritaville, or to our sports complexes. We need more restaurants and more quality restaurants east of 435. We need a steakhouse. As much as I would love to have everyone go eat at Margaritaville, not everyone will go eat at Margaritaville. And one of the most common requests we have, especially with all the youth sports tournaments, is a steakhouse or a steak-themed restaurant. Enter Texas Roadhouse on an incredible location with highway visibility. Texas Roadhouse is a $12 billion public company. Again, go back to what I just said about wanting users that are there today and 20 years from today. They're a $12 billion public company. They will be spending millions on top of millions of dollars to build this facility and to cater to Wyandotte County residents and all the visitors that come in to Village West as well as Homefield. This is a unique site. We have France Family, we have 98th, and we have 435. And then we have Texas Roadhouse right there in the middle of it. The site is encumbered with easements from KDOT, Evergy, and all the other normal utilities and the normal setbacks and entry point issues that you would have on a site like this. This is it's a small site, it's a tough site. And we've been working for the past year with Evergy and KDOT, and we've been working with Texas Roadhouse on how best to position this restaurant so that it performs to its optimum today and 20 years from today. I have been doing this for 34 years, and I'm not about to tell a $12 billion company how to design their building and how to cook a steak and how to get their employees and their patrons in and out safely. I think that's their job. So from the staff's report, and again, in a second, I will turn it over to staff, or if there's questions to the Texas Roadhouse people that I believe are on the Zoom call. In general, I believe Texas Roadhouse is in full agreement with all staff's comments, but for one. And look, I understand staff is their comments. I understand that they are simply doing their job. But the one comment that is very difficult is there is a comment in staff's report to move the building, to reorient parking, to reorient the building. That does not work. that will sabotage this deal. That is not optimum. That is not what Texas Roadhouse believes is the best siting of the building, given the constraints of this site and given they are charged with maximizing sales and safety for patrons and employees and how to get the most people into this building to buy as many steaks as possible and create as much tax as possible. So I would ask for your approval tonight on this submission based on the site plan that Texas Roadhouse has submitted in their application. And again, I want to thank you for your time this evening and look forward, hopefully, for your vote as submitted by Texas Roadhouse. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody online from Texas Roadhouse that needed to speak? Please raise your hand. All right, I have Janet Reed. Janet, I've got you queued up, ready to speak. If you would start off with your name and address, please. Ms. Reed, I just need you to unmute yourself, please. Give us your
Sorry
name and
about
address.
that. Yep.
That's all right.
Sorry. Janet Reed, 6220 Westchester Lane, Plano, Texas, 75093. I am here on behalf of Caitlin Kincaid and Texas Roadhouse. And thank you, Mr. Napper. I appreciate all of that. And I'm here just to answer any questions that you guys might have about this project.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant's representatives from the commission? All right, seeing none. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward if you're in the chambers. Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to staff and get their comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Troy, Planning Department. So to Mr. Napper's points, that was his comment addressed in the draft staff report. That, as you can see on the pages of the conditions of approval, we'll see that that's not mentioned in the staff report related to the conditions of approval, because in kind of talking to Texas Roadhouse, that the site is very difficult to actually put the building where where arguably it should be, which is closer to the street, whether that's France Family or 98th Street, whichever one you want us to do. So the staff report does reflect that comment being addressed, discussed, answered, whatever adjective you want to use. So again, that's why you don't see it in the conditions of approval. With that, staff does recommend approval subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Questions for staff?
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
can you go ahead and highlight what we're talking about here? I've read through this stuff, but I just want to make sure we're on the same page about where you guys want it to be and where they want it to be.
Yes, so let me, so basically where the pin is at on the screen right now is where, more or less where the building is sitting. I mean, it's a little bit to the west, but where the building is sitting. And per the commercial design guidelines, you would have the building that would sit closer. One of the conditions or one of the standards guidelines in the commercial design guidelines itself is that the building should be closer or oriented towards the public street. So whether that would be 98th Street or France Family, that would be whoever's choice. So essentially what they're seeking is a deviation from that specific guideline with the commercial design guidelines to, again, have their building sited where they want to have it sited, which is, again, further west and south, which is where the pin is located at. So that's what we're both talking about.
Okay. So basically you're wanting the parking lot to be behind the building on the front? Is that what we're talking about before?
I mean, ideally, yeah. In good building design, the building would be the primary focus, not the parking. Parking typically would be on the side or the rear of the building.
Okay.
In this case, it would be pretty difficult to do so, in part because of how the site usually works within a sit-down restaurant. You usually have your ADA parking out front along your front entrance to then get individuals in and out. Usually you have a row of parking behind that, which again flows people to the front of the building. So the building is sited to the north, so that'd be kind of difficult to do because you can't really get that access off of France Family because it doesn't really preclude driving through the site, because you'll have to change your parking orientation around to be more of a north-south orientation, which isn't suitable for Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Other questions or clarifications needed? Commissioner Jones.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask again to triple check then. That has been reconciled between staff, the orientation of the building has been reconciled between staff and the applicant.
Yes.
Despite what's in the, okay, got it. Thank you.
So that has been taken care of, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Can I get, as the application, I'm sorry, the applicant, you're
Richard Napper again.
Yes.
I just want to make crystal clear. On the staff report I have, page 22 has a site plan and it has the building where Texas Roadhouse had submitted it. I just want to make sure with Byron, with staff, that is what staff and Texas Roadhouse, and Janet, if you're on the phone or Zoom.
I'm here.
That you're in agreement as well. Again, I showed as page
The
20.
site plan we've submitted is, yes.
Correct. And Byron, that's what you're agreeable with?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
all right. Other questions or clarifications needed? Mr. Jones, you good, or your hand's still up from the former
I'm
question?
good. I just wanted to say for clarification, I think on the commissioners and at least for myself, because the applicant mentioned what he did, that's what caused, I'm thinking that maybe they're not agreeing. So we got it. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Other questions? Seeing none, I will stand for a motion when ready. Have you already given your comments?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I might have been focused on chicken fried steak. I don't know. It probably in my head, it might have been wandering. So, all right, if there are no other questions, I will stand for a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
which one would you like first? Plan review
I
or
will
plat?
take the change of zone application first.
You want
please.
that first? Okay. I make a motion to approve change of zone application 2026-005, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve changes on application 2026-005 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Jones. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. Now I'll entertain one for the plat.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve plat 2026-015, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve plat 2026-015 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded again by Commissioner Jones. Is that correct? Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. And finally, one for the plan review.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward.
I make a motion to approve plan review 2026-005, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Motion to approve plan review application 2026-005 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Jones once again, correct? Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. The change of zone application will move forward. The others will not, correct?
That's correct.
All right, change of zone application will move forward for the Board of Commissioners on May 28th at 5:30 PM. Thank you. Ms. Reed, after that meeting, you need to get to work.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Okay, our next applications are COZ 2026-006, change of zone from RP5 apartment planned district to C1 limited business district, and MPL 2026-003, Hem Gatney, with a master plan amendment from urban density to neighborhood commercial for a commercial office space at 2021 Minnesota Avenue. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Okay, Mr. Gatney or ABC Real Estate? M. Gatney, ABC Real Estate.
Hello?
Yeah, I've got two people queued up. I've got M and I've got Gobar Biswa.
Yep. Yeah, go over and yep.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and give me your name and address, please, and tell us what you'd like to do here. Whoever's going to speak.
Gobar has more idea than me. Gobar, can you please explain it?
All right, Gobar, I need you to unmute yourself, please. Give us your name and address. Gobar Biswa, I need you to unmute. There you go.
Yeah, my name is Gobar Biswa, and I'm speaking for 2121 Minnesota Avenue, Kansas City, Kansas 66102. Change of planning to office building.
All right, and what are you planning on building there?
Yeah, we paid the commercial. We buy this building as a commercial, and we pay the commercial tax, but the zoning was still residential and need to change to office building.
All right. Any questions for this applicant? All right, seeing none, we'll go with this. We'll go to the audience. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff, get their comments.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman, Byron Hill Planning Department. So this building is a commercial building, zoned RP5, which obviously does not fit the zoning itself does not fit the use of the building. So arguably is to fix a non-conforming issue on the site. So changing that zoning would actually put the building into conformance from the standpoint of uses allowed in the zoning district that it's going to be in. With that, staff recommends approval, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Okay, I'll need two motions. The first one will be on the master plan amendment. I'm sorry, Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve. You want master plan first, you said?
Yes, please.
Okay. Make a motion to approve master plan amendment 2026-003, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve master plan amendment 2026-003 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Jones, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. And now I'll need one on the change of zone application. Commissioner Ward.
I make a motion to approve change of zone application 2026-006, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve change of zone application 2026-006 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Jones, correct? Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones. Was that yes?
Sorry. Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. Just the change of zone goes forward, correct?
Both move forward.
I'm sorry, both master plan amendment and change of zone will go forward to the Board of County Commissioners on May 28th at 5:30 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, our next application is SP 2026-001. Aaron Woodson is a special use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental at 8323 Tarmi Avenue. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Okay, Aaron Woodson, I have you queued up ready to speak. If you would start off with your name and address, please.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Erin Woodson. My current address, 118 Twin Cedar Street, Tonganoxie, Kansas, 66086.
And tell us what you'd like to do with this property.
I am applying for a short-term rental. This would be my second one in the neighborhood. I've had one here for 2 years. So this would be a second one I'm trying to permit.
All right. But this is the only one on that block, correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right. Thank you. And you're requesting 6 individuals and 2 cars, correct?
Yes.
All right. Any questions for this applicant? All right, seeing none. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in support or in opposition, please raise your hand or come forward. Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and go to staff, get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Staff recommends approval for 1 year, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll take a motion. Commissioner Jones.
Motion to approve special use permit case number 2026-001, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, motion to approve, and that's for 1 year, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2026-001 for a period of 1 year made by Commissioner Jones. Is that a second, Commissioner Ernst?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard once again, May 28th, 5:30 p.m. before the Board of County Commissioners. Thank you.
The next application is SP 2026-009, Wyandotte. It is a special use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental at 1124 Osage Avenue. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Thank you. Mr. Ureta?
Urenda.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Urenda.
Okay, you just keep
Urenda,
saying it and I'll
sorry.
just keep agreeing with you. All right, go ahead and give us your name and address in the microphone, please, and tell us what you'd like to do.
Juan Urenda, 1126 Osage Avenue. Kansas.
Okay, and what are you wanting to do with this property?
1124 Osage Avenue.
Mhm.
Special use permit for a short-term rental
Okay, and so you live across the street or next door to this property?
next door.
Okay, all right. So you're going to be on site to manage it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for this applicant? Okay, seeing none. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward. Seeing no one, we'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Staff recommends approval for 1 year, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. And is it our standard 1 year even when they're that close?
Yes, because it's
First time
non-owner-occupied.
applicant?
Yep.
Gotcha, thank you. I should know that by now. All right, questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion. Commissioner Jones?
Motion to approve special use permit case number 2026-009, subject to staff stipulations and comments for 1 year.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2026-009 for 1 year made by Commissioner Jones, seconded by Commissioner Ernst. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This is going to be heard one more time, May 28th at 5:30 p.m. before the Board of County Commissioners.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Our next application is SP 2026-013, Malik Al-Asid with MK Auto LLC. It is a special use permit for automobile repair and sales at 1604 North 3rd Street. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Malik Al-Asid, are you in the audience or online? Malik Al-Asid, I've got you queued up, ready to speak. I need your name and address. Please tell us what you'd like to do.
Malik Al Said.
Yes, your address?
1604 North 3rd Street, Kansas City.
All right. And what are you wanting to do with this property?
Auto repair with the dealership.
Okay, and approximately how many cars are you going to be having at this site?
Almost 8 cars.
And all the repairs going to be taken care of inside the building, is that correct?
Inside the building, yes, you're right.
Will there be any inoperable vehicles parked on the outside of the building?
Sorry, say that again.
Will there be any vehicles that do not function or do not operate parked outside of the building?
No,
All right. Other questions for the applicant?
I don't have any question.
Okay. Anyone on the commission have any questions? All right, seeing none. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Come forward and raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll go to staff, get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy Planning Department. So just kind of give you a little bit of education, a little bit. Preceded this, similar to the case we had a couple months ago, where we were on 7th Street, where we had the zoning, which was different, zoning of industrial, which was different than the area plan had it designated for at the time, which at that point it was low density residential. This is something similar where we have the Northeast area plan has this property designated as park/open space due to its proximity to Jersey Creek. And as you can see in the screen, the zoning is industrial. So we have kind of a two things are not congruent with each other. So this is more of a policy question later on as far as what we do with properties that don't have designations in the comp plan or the area plans and the existing zoning that's in place. This has been previously 10 years ago. This was an automotive repair shop or automotive, sales shop. That person did not seek the renewal, did not get the renewal in 2 years later in 2018. But there is a history of this use going on the property. Staff does recommend approval for 2 years to operate the repair shop with cars being kept inside that are being repaired, and there are no inoperable vehicles on the property. There are only 8 cars for sale on the premises at any one time. Staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you. Questions for staff? Commissioner Jones.
Byron, my question is, what did I understand you correctly to say that the previous owner did not get renewal? If so, why did they not get renewal?
So Byron Toy Planning Department. So in 2016, the initial person that applied for it, was given 2 years. They came back in 2018. They did not adhere to the conditions of approval. They were denied at that time. So this is a completely different operator entirely, 8 years later. But in general, in 2018, they did not follow their conditions of approval.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions for staff? I'm sorry, Commissioner Fogelson.
So you mentioned it, Byron. I mean, the concern with Jersey Creek right there, I mean, oil on the ground, anything like that's going to be instantly in the creek. So reading in here, I guess that's all been thought through. The applicant, do you think the applicant's aware of that?
The applicant's aware because Public Works and Planning Engineering did make that comment related to this use in this, bucket of plans review that they did. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Commissioner Jones.
Byron, my other question is, I don't know if I missed that, but so were there any problems before? And then my other question is, how long at this point has this property been vacant from the previous operator?
I guess I'll answer your second question first. From 2008 to present, this has been empty from the standpoint of automotive related uses. So if there's another use in here that can allow any M2 use by right, that could occur. But as far as automotive related uses, that has not happened since 2018 when they initially reapplied for their SUP. So that's, I guess, the second thing. Can you repeat your first question just because I was so focused on the second one?
Were there any problems before? I'm concerned with Jersey Creek and the whole environmental. I'm going to change it up a bit. Any concerns about environmental issues the previous time with the previous applicant?
So if I'm not mistaken, with the previous applicant, there was just, I'll be honest, junk everywhere. There were no improvements made to striping the parking lot, repaving the parking lot, having inoperable vehicles, having salvaged vehicles, having just junk everywhere. It's more or less an eyesore. So that's ultimately why they were not approved when they reapplied. So it behooved this applicant to follow the conditions of approval that they're listed in the report to make sure they do those things, because in 2 years, if they don't do this, they may be in the same boat as the individual who previously applied back in 2016 to go for renewal in 2018, which they were denied.
So with what you mentioned at the beginning, is there anything that needs to be reconciled from an environmental standpoint still with regard to Jersey Creek being right there?
I mean, as far as environmental related issues, nothing that needs to be done. Now, as far as the use itself and monitoring with planning, engineering and planning and, you know, probably environmental health, yes, to make sure they're following their conditions for approval. You know, the key is that they're not changing anything outside. They're not, you know, having those things happen, because then when that happens, then you have fluids that can run off to the south into Jersey Creek. But if they're doing it inside the building, they have the appropriate infrastructure installed, oil, sand separators, and those things, which will help collect and catch any fluids that are spilled. That's what the purpose is inside the building.
Okay, and then I know since this is still a different operator, it would be just for 1 year based on stipulations. Okay, thank you.
2 years.
2 years?
2 years. 2 years, Commissioner Jones.
Okay.
All right. Other questions or clarifications needed? Mr. Beth?
What was they putting down there before this? What was it used for before this one?
Before this individual is applying for their special use permit,
But the last couple of years or whatever.
I'm actually not sure what.
Is that where they were storing all those semi-trailers? Because the pictures have some of the trailers. I know we tagged a bunch of the trailers that were dumped down there.
So clearly, I mean, in general, if you were storing outside, if you're storing trailers in general, that would be allowed in M2, again, over the road truck trailers.
Yeah, these were just trailers. We didn't even know who the owners were. Some of them were Walmart trailers that they were just parked down there, and we had a hard time getting them removed. And I just wondered if that was what they were using it before, because I see some of the pictures. There's some semi-trailers on.
Right, very well could be, but I can't speak to that only because I don't know.
Right,
I don't want to speak out of turn.
OCDs, did you have a comment?
OCD's needs planning, correct. So they were storing trailers. We did speak to the applicant. I spoke to the applicants about it. They stated that some of the trailers were going to stay there. I'm assuming that this is from the previous use that will still be maintained.
Yeah, we could never figure out what it was being used for at the time. I just know we were getting complaints that they were storing trailers down there, and we couldn't figure out who they were, why they were putting them there even. So, okay, thanks.
All right, then now I need some clarification. So that use is going to continue where there's still going to be trailer storage?
OCD's needs for planning. I spoke to the applicants about it over the counter, and at that moment we were speaking, yes, then we spoke again. They were informed that the trailers did have to go if they wanted to bring in their current use that they're presenting right now.
They would have to be what?
They would have to stop.
Okay. All right. And they were in agreement with that?
Correct.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Jones?
So I was going to ask about that same thing because I saw those pictures with the trailers in there. And then when I look at the synopsis in our report, of course, it talks about automobile repair as opposed to anything going on with truck trailers. And so I would think because of what it says, the request is, that would not be permissible. Can staff speak to that?
I mean, unless Byron Toy Planning Department, so unless they filed two different business licenses, one for this business and the other one for Byron Toy Storage Trailer, Inc. If you get two business licenses, then yes, those two things could work independently on the same property. But if you have this use, which is obviously auto repair and auto sales, since that's the loan use of the property, then you cannot default have storage of trailers that are not associated with this business, because that's not what this is for.
So did I misunderstand with regard to, we have pictures in the case file with truck trailers. That's not going to be continued.
Correct. The understanding is that will not continue, and that's been discussed with the applicant.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Other questions or clarifications needed? All right, seeing none, I will stand for a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve special use permit application 2026-013, subject to staff stipulations and comments
All right, is that for 2 years?
for 2 years.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2026-013 for 2 years made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Miller?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones. Jones? Oh, did she drop off?
No.
No, she's still there.
Commissioner Jones.
Here, aye.
Thank you.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ellison, this will be heard once again, May 28th, 5:30 PM before the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Our next application is SP 2026-015. Eric Medved is a special use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental at 2309 North 77th Street. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Okay, Mr. Medved, got you queued up, ready to speak. If you would, start off with your name and address. Go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay. Eric Medved, 2309 North 77th Street, and speaking today about special use permit for a short-term rental. And if you guys don't mind, I do have like a brief statement I can read.
Okay, go ahead.
So what we're proposing is not a party house or something to take away from the character of the neighborhood. Our goal is to create an upscale spa-like resort short-term rental that attracts responsible guests, families, small groups, and visitors who are coming to the area for a high-quality experience. Our main target family was something like that was mentioned earlier with Homefield. We envisioned families coming into town for tournament weekends that would love the option to stay together with 2 or 3 families just 5 minutes from the field. That is just one of the target groups that we envision staying with us. There's a strong demand for this type of lodging in Kansas City region, not only for the World Cup, but beyond, with roughly 78,000 daily visitors to the local area. And we wanted to build this for a long-term way to build something great in the area. One of the main motivations that I had personally when I started this project was watching a YouTube video. A family took their kids to what they thought was the best short-term rental in every state. The one that was chosen for Kansas was a small farm in central Kansas. And to be frank, out of the list of 50, it did not stand out at all, whilst other states like Oklahoma had amenity-rich resorts where kids were talking about long after they left. Creating an upscale resort-like rental can give such an impact to the community. We wanted to build something that kids and families talk about. When they go back home, we wanted them to talk about their trip to Kansas City like it was a trip to Disney World. And there aren't many options like that in Kansas City. We feel like offering an excellent housing experience will amplify everything else that travelers in Kansas City will experience. We believe this type of property can raise the standard for what short-term rentals should look like. Our intent is to operate professionally with clear house rules, guest screening, occupancy limits, quiet hours, no parties, no street parking issues, and local management response plan, as we plan to manage ourselves and are local to the Kansas City metro area. This property is being designed as a controlled, amenity-rich resort retreat with spa-like features, quality outdoor spaces that focus on relaxation, wellness, and family-friendly use. It gives visitors a unique reason to stay in our community instead of choosing a hotel or staying elsewhere in the metro. Approving this request would allow the city to capture the benefit of tourism while holding the operator accountable through rules, inspections, and enforcement standards. And just to speak very briefly on the comment of noise, we feel that our house rules and target customer will really reduce the chance of this being a concern. Although we cannot always control everything all the time, we can monitor the number of guests and noise through monitor detection devices. As well as being local hands-on managers, we can address any concerns quickly. Moreover, we designed the entire backyard project with noise control as our #1 objective. Areas that would congregate people, like an outdoor seating area, we sunk below retaining walls. The pool and other areas that may be considered louder gathering spaces, we centered on the 5-acre land. The nearest property from the pool is about 260 feet and other properties about 340 to 350. With no other obstructions like walls or trees, an 80 to 85 decibel sound will dissipate to about 44 to 50 decibels at that distance by the time it reaches the nearest property. That's the sound of something like a normal conversation, and that doesn't account for the fences, walls, or trees that are almost blocking the property in every direction. The journey in building this rental has been a long one for us. It's been about 6 months in the making with lots of bumps in the road. From day one, our goal was to do everything the right way. And at the end of March, we were made aware of prior permitting issues on the property. It came to our attention that prior work done before purchasing the property was never permitted. This included a home remodel, a deck, a pool house, a gazebo, and a chicken coop. And although it never felt good, we ended up removing the gazebo and the chicken coop. We had engineers and architects do drawings and plans on all of the buildings. And we just wanted to make it clear that although the previous owners chose to not do the right thing, we strive to do everything 100% safe and in line with codes or restrictions. All proper permits have been applied for currently and are either approved or in the process with home inspections. We've repaired every issue, including the small line items that were brought up in our home inspection report when we bought the property. We've applied for and been approved for food and beverage and hotel lodging license. And I've almost had daily contact in the last month and a half with someone either with planning or building inspections to make sure this place is up to the highest standard the property could be. Every person that's visited the property in the last 4 months has said they can't believe this exists in Kansas City. We have 5 beautiful acres surrounded by trees that really feel like a retreat when you walk in. And when you step off the back deck, it takes your breath away. Dozens of times people have said to me, I cannot believe this exists in Kansas City. These luxury resorts there are luxury resorts like this in almost all large tourist cities because they have to. The competition among short-term rentals is there to where they have to stand out. But in Kansas City, that competition is not there. But there is no reason someone can't have a luxury experience when they travel to our city. For that reason, I respectfully ask for the board to approve this request and allow us to move forward with a high-quality short-term rental that supports tourism, local businesses, tax revenue, and overall appeal to the community. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions for this applicant?
I've got a quick question.
Feel like he left out a lot of things, but let's see. Commissioner Fogelson.
Just could you confirm, is this location on septic or is it connected to city sewer? Do you know?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is what?
It's connected to city sewer.
All right.
Thank you.
The main house is, yes. Yep.
Is there some parts of it that are not?
Well, the backyard and like the pool and stuff, but the main house is connected to city sewer. There's nothing else that would need to be, I guess.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward. I'm seeing no one, so we'll go to staff, get their recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Hill Planning Department. To the applicant's point, he has worked with planning staff and building inspection to resolve preceding issues with the structure, with the house, and other issues that have gone on with the property. So he's been diligent in that, and that's kind of the reason why this has not been before you for the past 2 months, is so he can take care of these issues. So now that he's before you, he has those issues, rectified. Again, not to his doing, but because he purchased it, now becomes his problem. So with that, staff recommends approval subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report for 1 year.
All right, thank you. And this is for maximum of 10 occupants and no more than 4 cars, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Questions for staff? Seeing none, I will stand for a motion. I've got, sorry, excuse me.
Commissioner Ward?
I got somebody else. Commissioner Jones, excuse me.
Okay. Motion to approve special use permit case number 2026-015, subject to staff stipulations and comments with the approval for 1 year.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2026-015 for 1 year made by Commissioner Jones. Is that a second, Commissioner Ward? Would you want the second? Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth?
Aye.
Ward?
Aye.
Vogelsong?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Moeller?
Aye.
Ernst?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This will be heard once again, May 28th, 5:30 before the Board of Commissioners. Good luck.
Next application is SP 2026-019. Stephanie Vogel is a special use permit for a child care center at 7250 State Avenue. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Yes, sir. I'm assuming you're representing Stephanie Vogel.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Your name and address, please.
James Daniels, 3128 North 124th Street, Kansas City, Kansas, 66109.
Okay, go ahead and tell us what you would like to do here.
What we like to do is we're applying for a special use permit for the child care center at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. That location has been there. They've had a child care center for 40 years. We have 2 other child care centers within that area. Total capacity for all 3 centers, if this is approved, would be 242. This center alone will have the capacity to hold 80 children. We will also have 14 staff members on site. There is playground. We provide a robust curriculum for all of our age-appropriate classrooms. Security is on site as always, their presence throughout the campus. We're closed on weekends, and we're available not only just for the staff, not only just for the students, but the entire Kansas City metro area.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? All right, seeing none. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward if you're in the chambers. All right, seeing no one, we'll go to staff, get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Wyandotte Planning Department staff recommends approval for 2 years, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion. Commissioner Jones.
Motion to approve special use permit case number 2026-019, subject to staff stipulations and comments for a period of 2 years.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2026-019 made by Commissioner Jones and seconded by Commissioner Ernst, correct?
Gladly.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth?
Aye.
Ward?
Aye.
Vogelsong?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Moeller?
Aye.
Ernst?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This will be heard once again, May 28th, 5:30 p.m. before the Board of Commissioners in this room. Thank you.
Next application is SP 2026-025, Catherine McKendry. It is a special use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental at 1300 North 81st Street. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Good evening. Your name and address, please.
Yeah. Good evening. Catherine McKendry, 1300 North 81st Street, Kansas City, Kansas, 66112. And I'm applying for the special permit for short-term rental. It's out at the Westfield Estates. It's a very established older community. If anybody has been in Wyandotte County for a long time, when I purchased the home in 2017, it was Dr. Pretz's house. So it's, when I bought it, oh, you bought Dr. Pretz's house. And so it's like, is it ever going to be Kathy's house? So
No, it will not be. I'm just going to let you know.
right? But it was great hearing stories about Dr. Pretz. He would spend time in his library. So I contacted his daughter, Barbara, and this house has a library in it. And I thought, oh my God, I was just privileged. It's like, whose house has a library? I'm like, mine does, And so I reached out to Barb, and I have a little section of Dr. Pretz's books because I felt like he built it was his library. I heard stories of people driving by, and they always saw him in his library reading. So anyway, just to give you a little history, I love the house. I wasn't the highest bidder when I bought the house, but I met Barb. I met the realtor that day that they were having an estate sale. I loved it the minute I walked into it. It's that feeling of like, oh, anyway, I love it. And so there was other people that had a higher bid, but they wanted to knock down walls. They wanted to modernize it. I loved it just the way it was. It was built in 1968. It's a brick home. It's beautiful. I love it. And so I don't want to sell it. The game plan was to make it a short-term rental even before the World Cup was coming to Kansas City, which is an awesome privilege for us to have. And so that's why I applied for the short-term rental. It's a maximum of 6 guests. I have my rules. I have the quiet time listed on there according to the city, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. You know, no parties. You know, I know that when I take a vacation with my mom, my sister in October every year for her birthday, it's usually somewhere where we can drive, and it's always an Airbnb. When we get there, we go to the liquor store, we go to the grocery store, and then we go there. We sit around, we play cards.
Seem like a fun group.
It is, you know, and so I just, you know, I asked my family, you know, their opinion. I've had family members stay at the house to give me their feedback, if this is somewhere that they would want to stay, and they said yes. So I'm asking for approval for my special permit.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for this nice lady?
She didn't put pictures of the library in there.
Oh, yeah, we didn't see any books, but that's okay. She says they're there, and you know what?
I submitted.
I believe her, Commissioner Beth. I would not question her. I believe this lady. Thank you. Other legitimate questions for the applicant? Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please raise your hand. Yes, sir. Ma'am, if you'll have a seat. Yes, sir.
My name is Morris Cancel. I live at 8001 Washington Avenue,
Mhm.
just a block up the street from
Yep.
Miss McKendry's home. I have several of Dr. Pretz's books if you're interested. He really liked.
I'm the most unread person up here. I'm sorry, this doesn't apply to me, but yes, sir, go ahead.
Well, anyway, Westfield subdivision was platted back in 1956. November 7th, 1963, the HOA declaration was created and it was filed with the county on April 20th, 1965. The Westfield Homeowners Association, we have 54 residences, 3 officers, 6 board members. There's a total of 9 that handle whatever comes up, including maintenance and grass cutting and all that. It's a very long established neighborhood. Like Ms. McHenry said, we've got 3 residents that are the original owners of their homes. They've been there for over 60 years. 35% of the homeowners have been there for over 20 years. I've been there for 35 years. It's just a very nice residential neighborhood. The stated intent of the HOA declaration, and I quote, is that all lots in Westfield are devoted to first-class residential purposes and to maintain the addition as a residential neighborhood possessing features of more than ordinary value to a residential community. Ms. McKendry did contact a member of the Homeowners Association board earlier this year and asked if there were any prohibitions to a short-term rental. Well, our declaration was written in 1965. There are no stated conditions about short-term rentals. I know we knew about them in 1965. But the intent of the declaration is specific to maintaining a single-family residential neighborhood that attracts long-term residents and fosters a sense of neighborhood cohesion. And this speaks to staff number 16. They're talking about covenants, conditions, and restrictions of the recorded plat, the subdivision plat. Well, like I said, there's nothing stated in the declaration. It's just the intent of the declaration to be a single-family residential community. On April 23rd, Ms. McHenry held a meeting at her home about the special use permit. 9 people representing 5 homes were in attendance. And according to the meeting, the minutes of the meeting, no one spoke in favor of a special use permit at that meeting. 10 days later, the HOA board met to discuss the special use permit. 6 of 9 members were present and 3 responded via email. It's the unanimous consensus of the board that this application should be denied. Ms. McHenry has not lived full-time at this residence for some time. She resides in McLouth. 35 minutes away. At best, her response time to mitigate issues at the response is pretty lengthy. She'll rely heavily on Airbnb for booking, background checks. Ms. McKendry's plan is for 30% occupancy. That's the equivalent of a short-term rental every weekend, every week, year-round. Unfamiliar transient occupants are just not consistent to the intent of our declaration. There are young children that lived adjacent to Miss McKendry's, and other children live across the street and within 100 feet. Parents and guardians of these children have expressed concerns regarding their safety and neighborhood stability. That's it. We just not in favor.
All right. Thank you very much.
Can you repeat your name one more time?
Please.
Can you repeat your
It's
name?
Maurice
one more time?
Cancel.
Oh, Morris.
Morris Cancel. Excuse me.
K-A-N-C-E-L.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak in favor or in opposition to this request?
Can I respond?
Yes, go ahead.
So yes, my first action was to call the president of the HOA and confirm that if there was any guidelines to show that it was not allowed, or if it, in our guidelines, and she said no. So yes, I did hold the meeting. And I do have the minutes that I provided. And, at the meeting, even hearing Nancy, who was not in favor, she was not within 200 yards of the house, so I was not required to send her that notice. But she is on the HOA board, and so she felt the need to come. She raved about the Airbnbs that she stayed at. And I always think of things after a meeting, what I should have asked. Well, one of the things I should have asked is how many people have stayed at an Airbnb? And then we would have gotten that response, and the ones that raised their hand, yes. How many of you all have gone and been loud and thrown parties and did not abide by the rules? I should have asked that and got my answer, because I know I have never not read the rules of somebody's Airbnb. It's their home. You're respectful. And that's why I do go through Airbnb because I've used them several times. They do a background check. If you are a felony, it's going to be denied. I have the control also. If they have like a 1-star rating, I don't have to allow them to rent for that weekend. I'm hoping that I get it rented every weekend. So that's why I put 30%.
Just a quick question. When you had the meeting with the homeowners, did anyone express to you the intent of the original bylaws and
No.
that there were concerns about it being in the neighborhood?
Nothing was addressed about the bylaws.
Okay. But was there concern expressed by the neighbors at the meeting?
Excuse me?
Was there concern expressed by the neighbors at the meeting?
Especially Nancy. And at the end, she did say that she felt better after coming to the meeting.
Okay.
And answering the questions. And I did specifically stress that the meeting was not a HOA meeting. It was to address any questions or any comments. And at the end, Nancy did ask, do we vote? And I said no.
Right. Okay. All right. Anything else you wanted to address? All right. Thank you. All right. With that said, and no one else ready to speak, I'm going to go ahead and go to staff and get their comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll let Mike add into this, or legal counsel, but while there may be some conditions or some type of restriction related to the plat, staff cannot use that or use that. That's independent of what we do. That's something between private citizen and any HOA or any covenant restriction that some entity may force upon the resident and of the subject of that plat. So with that, staff, Mike, do you want to add anything to that before I continue onward?
Sure. Yep. This is Mike Farley, legal counsel. really, so when this is both for kind of how planning operates and how planning commission operates, all we can do and all we are allowed to enforce is ordinances and reasonable conditions within the scope and proportionality of the request being made. Legal has previously determined that interpretation and enforcement of private HOA agreements, covenants, anything like that is outside of the purview for these sort of applications. So while there is a condition approval in there that basically kind of says, hey, you should be following all of these, that consideration is not taken into account by staff, nor should it be taken into account in this case when we are looking at both recommendations of approval or denial, as well as possible conditions of approval.
So it is not a factor to be considered.
Correct. It is not a factor to be considered.
All right. Anything else you wanted to add? Mr. Toy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Toy, Planning Department. So with that, staff does recommend approval of 1 year, subject to conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right. Thank you. Questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, I will stand for a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I'm going to make a motion for approval before I do that. Dr. Pretz saved my life as a baby, so I wouldn't be sitting here today be able to make this motion if it wasn't for Dr. Pretz. So I would just ask, and I would concur with the gentleman sitting next to you there, that you treat his house with respect and make sure that whatever you're doing is with some reverence and some grace, because he's a great man. That being said, I make a motion for approval on special use permit 2026-025, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right. Thank you. And that was the best motion you've ever made.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And yeah, I probably never get to say it again, so I want to make sure I said it. So there was a motion for approval made by Commissioner Ward for special use application 2026-025. That is for 1 year, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Is there a second? Commissioner Ernst, is that a second?
Yes, indeed.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 6-0 or 7-0. Sorry.
All right, thank you. This will be heard once again, May 28th at 5:30 before the Board of County Commissioners. Thank you. Thank you both for being here.
The next application is SP 2026-027. Jennifer Cobb. It is a special use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental at 3140 North 111th Terrace. Does anyone on the commission have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Okay, Ms. Cobb, I have you queued up ready to speak. If you would, please start off with your name and address and tell us what you'd like to do with this property.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Jennifer Cobb, and I am at 3140 North 111th Terrace, Kansas City, Kansas, 66109. I am seeking approval for a special use permit to operate a non-owner occupied short-term rental. I'll keep it short and sweet. I've owned this home since 2003. The one and only owner of it had it built, and it's very special to me. A lot of my neighbors have been there since before I had the home built, and we have a really great rapport and friendship. I have not encountered any resistance or opposition to the short-term rental. Because of my career, I have traveled excessively for probably 20 years or more, and the home has largely sat vacant or quite frankly, haven't been able to keep up with it. And I'd like to institute, a short-term rental plan so that I can still come home to my family, come home for holidays and enjoy my home, but yet have a budget to be able to better the yard, keep up with maintenance, and, just make it worthy of the neighborhood. I feel like I've let the yard go in several years, and I've been apologizing to my neighbors. I do have short-term rental experience in North Carolina. I co-host or co-manage a lakefront property, And we have a policy that we only allow short-term renters that have 5-star ratings and experience. So it really doesn't matter who you are. If you don't have experience, if you don't have a 5-star rating, you're not renting the home. And that's what I am going to do with this home in Kansas City. As I said, it's very special to me. And yeah, we have all 5-star reviews, and we have given nothing but 5-star reviews to the people that have rented from us at this other property. So I'm pretty excited about it. I already have interest from a government, a federal law enforcement official who's interested in it for a month. And I think that it's going to be a positive thing, and I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from my neighbors as well.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions for this applicant? Okay, seeing none. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please raise your hand if you're online, and there's no one in the chamber, so that's it. Anyone? Seeing none, we'll go to staff, get their comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Byron Trout, Planning Department. Staff recommends approval for 1 year, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve special use permit 2026-027, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve special use application 2026-027 made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Jones?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard once again, May 28th at 5:30 before the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes the primary portion of our agenda, but we do have 2 items going to be brought forward today by legal counsel. Is that correct? You're going to do that from here? You're going to do it from the podium?
I can do it from the podium. That's
You
correct.
have 38 minutes to present. And so please feel free to go ahead.
It's a good thing I'm a slow talker, right? All right. Thank you to the Planning Commission. I'm going to reintroduce myself. My name is Mike Farley, legal counsel with the Unified Government. I'm going to be presenting 2 different ordinance amendments to the zoning code tonight. The first one is related to an ordinance clarifying the existing code provisions authorizing mileage reimbursement for members of the Unified Government City Planning Commission. A quick history for this. This is in our code, chapter or section 2750, which simply states that 2721, which currently states that each member of the Planning Commission receives up to $100 a month for mileage reimbursement. Now, it was brought to our attention recently that this is not currently, as read, this is not currently in compliance with state law. State law makes it clear that both members serving the Board of Zoning Appeals and the City Planning Commission cannot do so with compensation. Furthermore, there was a Kansas Attorney General's opinion from 1996 that also reiterates that while compensation, reiterates that mileage reimbursement is not compensation. So other forms may be considered compensation, mileage reimbursement is not. However, to square what our code says with the practices that have been currently going on, we need to ensure that each member is recording and submitting some sort of mileage. Because right now we can't just have $100 with no variation, no questions asked. And so this is that is why the payments had currently stopped. And I will apologize on behalf of the Unified Government for the miscommunication with that. So if there was any, there's not been a lot of clarity, and so we apologize for that as we were figuring out how to to amend this and how to make sure that we are in compliance with state law. And the best way we determined that was to clarify section 2721, which will now, there's amendments here that now say that you can be eligible up to $100 for use of your vehicle, and the reimbursement shall be the federal mileage rate and supported by appropriate receipts, which in this case would be marking down, which I assume went to mileage, that the mileage that you took to get to each of those sites that were related to a BOZA or Planning Commission item. That's pretty much all I have. I certainly can take questions regarding this.
All right, thank you. Questions? First of all, we'll start with Commissioner Miller.
Michael, thanks for coming here on this. I got a lot of issues with this. Now, I'm going to caveat that with I don't think anyone on this planning commission has ever done it for the $100 a month, because quite frankly, it's nothing. I mean, our meetings lately have been a lot quicker, yes, but on my screen right now, the first two people I'm seeing are Commissioners Ernst and Jones, who have been on here at least as long as I have, and we remember the days where you could boil this down to less than $10 an hour. So I'm not saying that in a way, but I went in and when I saw this and this issue was raised to me, I went and was asked by other planning commission members of what my legal opinion was on it. I'm not acting as a lawyer on this, but when I look at it, I don't see how the current ordinance does not abide by the statute. This isn't something that the state came down and told us to fix. This isn't something that we found was an issue in any other way. This was simply ourselves looking at this saying, we don't believe this was interpreted. I went as far back to ask folks who made this ordinance 30-odd years ago, and they were talking about how the idea was it's a mileage reimbursement up to $100 and it's capped. We're capping it, right? Which makes sense. The new ordinance is going to be capped at $100, but if we're truly trying to comply with the statute, as the UG is saying is their purpose here, the issues I have with it are, why are we capping it at $100? If I turn in 7,600, or let me say this, if I turn in 10,000 miles and you have to reimburse me $7,000 because of the IRS rate, and I'm not saying anyone would do that, but it's easier for math for me to pull it off that way. Why are we capping it at $100? The answer is no one wants runaway costs for the UG, which is why this was created as a stipend 30 years ago. I mean, the ordinance clearly says, I got the ordinance, the existing ordinance right here. It says each member of the planning commission shall receive $100 each month for mileage reimbursement for the use of his vehicle and the performance of his duties. I'm probably talking to the wind here, but we spend a lot of times on things that we don't need to deal with, and this to me is one of them, because I don't see how that ordinance doesn't comply with state statute. If it didn't, then the state would have told us that. There's also the Attorney General's office where the UG and UG Legal could have asked the Attorney General for an opinion on this 3 or 4 months ago, prior to just bringing it to us. So it's just, to me, again, I don't do this for the $100 a month, but at the end of the day, I think I'm on a couple different UG boards, and this is by far the most overworked board on the UG that is a voluntary body. And so I just don't see why this is the attack.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Miller. Other comments, questions? I guess I just have one, Mr. Farley. So in the past, it's been treated as a stipend, correct?
That is correct. It has been $100, and my understanding is it has not varied regardless of any conditions from that month.
Correct. And so a stipend is a prepaid sum for expected expenses. Would you say that's the definition?
Correct. I will caveat that by, I believe everyone was being paid after the end of the month. I don't know if it was coming at the first of the month or if you were being paid afterwards. Because again, the Treasury Department that handles that, excuse me, the Treasurer's office. But yes, otherwise, our understanding is that it's $100 whether you drove 1 mile, 100 miles. There really has been no checking, and as of it's written, I would say that you get $100 regardless.
But the legal department's interpretation is that it should be a reimbursement versus a stipend for anticipated expenses, whether they're documented or not.
Correct. The legal department's interpretation of both state law and the attorney general's opinion is that $100 with no conditions attached is considered compensation in a way that up to $100 with mileage records is fits within the attorney general's opinion that is reimbursement for miles driven and for actions done on behalf of your role as a planning commissioner.
And just for clarification, because you showed it to me this evening, the ordinance that we have that's been passed states that it has the limit written into the ordinance, correct?
Right. Right now, the current ordinance. Actually, Mr. Chair, would you mind to clarify that? Maybe I don't.
You showed me the ordinance tonight, and it shows that the maximum cap is $100. So going back to Commissioner Miller's question was that if he drove 10,000 miles and you owed him $700, 7,000, whatever the math is, I guess it'd be 7,000 miles, $7,000. There's a max cap in there. So
yes, there is. Yes, even with the amendment, it says up to $100
because the ordinance specifically states that.
It specifically does. Yes.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to go to Commissioner Mueller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Farley, you've mentioned the AG opinion of 1996 twice. It's my understanding this ordinance was passed in 2001. Is that correct?
The most recent version of 27-21 was passed in 2001. That is correct.
So this was 5 years after the Attorney General's opinion, and the unified government at the time decided this was okay. Some 25 years ago.
All I can speak to is that the ordinance was passed, yes, 5 years after the Attorney General's opinion was issued. I could speculate as to how this might have been missed. Again, I will say Washburn Law School currently documents and catalogs all of the Attorney General's opinions digitally and online. I doubt that they were doing that back in 1996 or even in 2001. I'm not sure. So it just may not have been as well known. But yes, I do agree that the opinion came out in 96 and the most recent ordinance affecting this was passed 5 years later.
And here we are 25 years later and it's coming up. I guess my next question would be, and thank you all for telling us this was going on and just cutting off our checks and not saying word one. That was pure sarcasm, and I mean it on purpose. What is according to the ordinance that we're operating under now, you should pay us up until you determine to change this again. And I presume by the commission, because the commission has to change this ordinance, correct?
Commissioner, when there is a conflict between state law and local law, we are obligated to follow state law. And state law.
Sir, with all due respect, that's been going on for 25 years.
Whether just because something has been going on for 25 years, I realize that is a long time, and people would be, used to how things are done. But when it was brought to this current legal department's attention, we did a review of compliance with state law and determined that the way our code was written, and actually more so the policy, the actual actions that were being taken, was not in compliance, unfortunately. So again, I apologize for the lack of communication on this matter, but it's a supremacy.
Okay, but is the unified government not still responsible to pay us up until the time that the unified government changed the ordinance?
I'm claiming no such responsibility for that, sir. We are ensuring that we are in compliance with state law.
Chair.
Go ahead. I'm going to go to
Chair,
Mr. Lucas.
Rodney Lucas.
For clarification.
I sent you an email earlier today saying that I will go back and pay you from January until this month, until the implementation of the new policy. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So we will be voting on this and this will go to the commission. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I'm going to go to Commissioner Miller, then I'm going to go to Commissioner Jones, but real quick. Excuse me. So when you talked about when state law conflicts with local law, you defer to state law. So does the ordinance play in anything with regard to conflicting with state law? Because you got a local ordinance that says 75 cents, I'm sorry, whatever the IRS reimbursement mileage is to up to $100. Does that conflict with statute?
No, there's no conflict with state statute.
Does state statute say that there's a cap or there can be a cap?
No, the state statute does not. It just says there's no compensation. And then from there, we rely on the AG's opinion. AG says you can be reimbursed for mileage. A standard practice would be following the federal guidelines.
The state law says you can be reimbursed for mileage, but it does not give a cap. But the local ordinance says that there is a cap.
Correct. There is, yes.
So that's okay to be in conflict with that or not to, because you're
is,
not in conflict. I guess you have I'm sorry, I'm just trying to clarify.
Yep. Yes, and I'll clarify further that the AG's opinion does not state that you have to reimburse up to the amount of miles actually driven. It just said that if you are going to compensate for mileage driven, that is not considered compensation.
This is the formula for doing so.
State law.
This is the formula for doing so if you're going to do it, correct?
It does not specify. Well, let me pull up if I have in front of me, but I do not believe it specifies an actual formula. It just says if you are going to compensate for mileage.
But it does give you a formula because it says the IRS rates and all that stuff. That is written in there.
If you give me one moment, I'll actually check that.
Actually, I wasn't trying to trip you up. I just thought that was an easy one. I'm just saying there isn't a cap at the state level, but there is a cap at the local level.
I'd have to read. I mean, because again, it's a 2-page opinion. Sometimes it doesn't always have the context, but what it actually does say is that, or what comes out of that is, cities and counties are allowed to reimburse their planning commissioners for mileage within, in the scope of their duties as a planning commissioner, and that is not in conflict with state law. That's the only determination.
And I'm gonna go ahead and bypass the question because I wasn't trying to trip you up. I was just
that's
trying to make it easy. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Commissioner Miller because he may have more information.
Yeah. So just Chair Carson, what my point was is I never expected the UG to reimburse us at $7,600. I understand
that.
Yeah. But the reason why I was doing that is because when I went back and asked some of the folks who were a part of making this ordinance 30 years ago, I was told it was kind of an agreement reached in a way, right? Because the idea was you're going to limit the reimbursement to $100 stipend for the planning commission so that you don't have runaway costs. And in return, we're not going to make the planning commission sit there and track their mileage. That was the idea and the reasoning for that.
And I think you're saying what I'm saying is one is the reimbursement, but you're only going to you're not technically going to reimburse us because you're not going to reimburse us the actual amount. You're going to reimburse us up to a certain amount versus a stipend where there you go.
So my point is, if you're trying to comply with statute, why are we putting a cap? If we're trying to apply with statute, then don't put a cap. I mean, and just so everyone on the planning commission knows, I went through and I did some research on this, just being curious after I got my questions. The state statute, now it's a very long statute, but the provision that we're talking about here, all it says is members shall serve without compensation for their services, but may receive such traveling expenses as the Board of County Commissioners authorizes, which shall be paid from any funds available for such purposes. It doesn't say it has to be a strict mileage, doesn't say it has to be strict IRS reimbursement, doesn't say anything of that nature. It simply says if you're going to do it, it can be paid from any funds and it can be traveling expenses, which is why it was said as a stipend and not as that. Because the IRS, for instance, my law firm, we pay ourselves back a car allowance, which is a car stipend, so we don't track our own mileage every day. Now, I get it. I got less people looking at my books and stuff than everyone else here, maybe with the UG. But at the end of the day, I think we're shifting something. We're creating a problem that doesn't need to create, because I think my follow-up question would be is, who do I turn my mileage into? How do I get those receipts received? I mean, we're going to run into a problem. There are going to be a lot of issues on this that I don't think anyone's thought about, because if we did, we would have asked the UG for a legal opinion. And That's what I'll
Thank
say.
you. And we did, those of us that were here tonight, we did receive forms and a procedure basically that was sent attached to it. So there are forms that have to be filled out and a procedure for doing so. We'll make sure you get all those depending on the outcome, regardless of the outcome tonight. We'll make sure you get those. I'm going to go ahead and go to Vice Chair Jones.
Thank you, Chairman Carson. First, I want to say that I appreciate everybody's comments, but Commissioner Jake Miller, I appreciate his comments, and I would like to see them be addressed, not tonight, but the meeting is taped, and for the UG to really look at some of the statements that he's made. Then separate from that, my comment is that I feel like I want to caution us, don't spend $100 chasing a dime. There are 11 commissioners, and by the time you calculate time, effort, energy into turning in mileage and the calculation thereof and all that we would have to do, as well as what the UG, whoever, Commissioner Miller said it best, who are you going to turn it into? And then what do they have to do? What are they paid per hour? Is it really worth it? So at the end of the day, my thought when we look at perhaps what the rationale was way back when, 25 or so years ago, it probably was surmised that a flat fee would be best. Just leave it alone because you're just going to have more costs than maybe what you realize. So with 11 commissioners, that's $1,100 a month, and then you're done, and then the cost is capped, and it may be an easier thing. So my final ask would be, you might want to re-review this whole notion and making sure that it's really the right thing to do. Last thing I would say is, an organization I was in, we went through something similar for the purposes of reimbursement for jury duty. And what I can tell you is that at the end of the day, the organization said, just keep the money, because it was about people being dual paid. The company had to let you go for jury duty, and then the municipality had to pay you for the jury duty. And they figured out, we're spending $100 chasing a dime. Just keep the jury duty check, and we're going to pay you even though you weren't at work, you were doing your civic duty. And so that's what I would say. Be sure that, we're really doing the right thing from a feasibility standpoint, because sometimes on the surface, you're not getting what you think you're getting. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Ernst.
I'll make this short, but I'm trying to kill that time you said we needed to. I'm not blaming legal because they didn't get this in January. They didn't get
Correct.
this.
Yes.
I want to thank Mr. Miller for very, very astute observations all around. I'm going to vote no just because I'm annoyed by the whole thing. I talked months and months and months ago to people in UG about it, from department to department, and somebody used to do it, but they're not doing it now, and we're not sure what to do. And I'll get back to you. Guess what? So legal has reached their determination, but if any of the people I talked to if it was their money, I'm betting the problem would have got solved a lot sooner. So I'm going to vote no just out of irritation. And I go to these places, not all of them, only the ones I can't get a good Google view or something on. But I go around and see these places monthly. It's hard nowadays since we don't get it till Friday, but I do what I can. Not for the money. Correct, Mr. Miller, not for the money. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Ernst. Commissioner Miller.
And this is my last comment, but it made me think of something when Commissioner Ernst said it, is truly, I think it is for driving around to these other properties, which I do myself. A lot of times when I get it on a Thursday or Friday, like we did this month, I'll drive around over my lunch break and try to hit a couple. And then I do so with the weekends. I did it with my 3-year-old this weekend. But the point that I'm going to make on this is, I might be saying the quiet thing that no one else wants to acknowledge in the room. But the truth is, this was never brought up. I've been on this board for over 8 years now. This has never been brought up before. I truly, to my core, until someone tells me otherwise, believes that this is because this board majority meets by Zoom. That is why this is happening. That is why Chairman Carson and those in person were given an expense form this month. No one's going to change my mind on that. And the point is that me and Commissioner Ernst are right. We drive around and see this property. It's not that we don't do it. Even if I showed up there, sure, I get the $3 for going there. But the purpose of this is to drive around and see these properties, not for the attendance of a meeting. And so I make that point because I truly believe this change was made because they're mad that we're meeting via Zoom, as we've seen numerous times, them trying to get us back off of Zoom. So I just am going to say the quiet thing out loud and just leave it at that. And I'll be done for the night.
Thank you. I can't believe it's been 8 years. Anyone else?
I've got just a real quick.
Commissioner Fulkerson.
It just seems like, I mean, it seems like we're trying to fix something by using a standard reimbursement rate, but yet we're fixing the dollar amount. I mean, it seems like the source of this would have been someone's going to drive their car, say 150 miles a month. I said this to you earlier. It doesn't make sense that you're going to use IRS mileage rates that go up and down over time, but you're going to limit the dollar amount. If you're going to do it that way, I think you need to back up and say, what's an appropriate mileage per month, and let the IRS rate take care of it over time, because rates are going to go up, down, who knows what. It seems silly to fix it at some arbitrary dollar amount and then we're going to claim it's for mileage reimbursement when the mileage reimbursement rate changes all the time. That doesn't make any sense to me. If we go that route, I'm not debating any of the other comments made by the other commissioners. I'm just saying, if it's going to go that route, it doesn't even stand up to the spirit of what we're claiming.
I understand. Question for you as legal counsel also. Is this up for public comment as well?
No, it is your discretion, actually. You do not.
Well, because I just have a hand up from the public.
Okay. That is, Chair, that is your discretion.
All right, I'm going to see where this goes. I'm going to go ahead and call on EGM. Do you have a comment you'd like to make about this?
Yeah, I do. Eva Garcia Meza.
Yes.
I'm a resident of Kansas City, Kansas. I often tune into what you guys are doing. So
Yes,
I did want to make a comment. The decisions this board makes and takes require an extensive amount of time and oftentimes historical context to ensure that the city and county maintain a certain aesthetic or adherence to its ordinance. So that not only takes dedication, it takes commitment. So to question a non-consequential and candidly comical amount of $100 per month is a slap to each one of you commissioners. And I would absolutely tell every single one of you to vote no and have this sent back for additional review. I think it's also important to say this. These seats come with an enormous amount of responsibility. And if we, as in the constituency that you guys serve, want people in these seats to take the authority they have seriously, we should absolutely be compensating you. No different than any other job in the private sector that provides compensation for a certain skill set, which this board absolutely demonstrates at each and every one of these meetings. And lastly, I'll say this. There's a lot of things, and not just within the scope of this board, but there's a lot of issues and or ordinances that are long overdue for review. So to spend time to proactively, and when I say proactively, I'm putting that in quotations, proactively address something of this nature seems like such a silly use of the UG's time, energy, and effort. So take that for what you will. To me, it's crazy that this is even being brought up. There's obviously a precedent for you guys to be paid. And when I say paid in quotations, your $100 a month, it's more than deserved. And I say you guys do what you can to fight it, because $100 is nothing. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. And just for effect, since you were not here, I will slap Commissioner Ward. Thank you. Any final thoughts or reflections?
Yes.
To legal counsel.
Yes, thank you, Mike Farley, legal counsel. I was trying to take some notes, but Mr. Chair, if there's any other questions that were brought up that you want me to ask directly, I certainly can. I guess my first one directed back to Commissioner Miller. I did look to see if we had any legislative history regarding the amendments from, so last ordinance was passed in 2001. There was another one in 1998, I believe. If there is anything that might be available we can certainly take that into account. I just did not find any, it's once when things aren't digitized, it's a little harder to find if we even have, meeting minutes or I would say discussion, record of discussion, what went on. So I will just put that out there that if we are able to find legislative history, that could change our analysis. We are just working with what we had at the moment.
Thank you.
That was the big one. I will also say, again, the planning commission can certainly make amendments as part of their recommendation. So that's certainly within your power. And putting back on my parliamentarian hat for a second, the three options that you do have available for a zoning code amendment, because we don't deal with this all that often, is you can recommend approval, you can recommend denial, or per your own bylaws, you are able to continue for up to 2 months. So that's
So approve, deny, or recommend, or do a holdover.
correct. Holdover could be 1 month, could be up to 2 months.
All right, thank you. Questions for legal or staff?
I got a question.
Commissioner Beth.
I didn't read the statute. I read the city ordinance that specifies mileage reimbursement for using your vehicle. Is that what the follow the state statute? It's a reimbursement for mileage and not expenses, because stipend is a different definition than mileage expenses. Because stipend, you can get counts for volunteers being reimbursed for other expenses, like when Chairman Carson prints out a pallet of paper for the planning commission, printing out the agenda and stuff. So I don't know whether the statute allows that or it specifically narrows it down to mileage to mileage reimbursement as stated in the ordinance.
Yes. So the guidance, and I feel like a broken record here, but we are going back to the AG opinion because that is really the only guidance we have outside of the letter of the law, which I will admit is a little vague. It just says no compensation. AG does say reimbursement of travel expenses are allowed. So in our mind, primarily that is mileage. We can certainly talk about scenarios where some planning commissioners are sent to some sort of conference. That traveling expense could be considered that would be a traveling expense as well. That could be considered that. So it is a little more expensive than mileage, but I would say for the monthly activities, it is not reasonably conceivable what there would be outside of a mileage expense.
Narrowed down to mileage specific, not expenses as far as cell phone use, computer use, printing agendas, printing map.
Correct. We would not consider those a travel expense.
Right, and that's what I mean. That's does the statute narrow it down to specifically only reimbursed for mileage, or is a stipend for expenses for the volunteer performance of your duties, which that's not always just mileage, but printing stuff out.
Correct. I understand your question. It is just for mileage reimbursement. That's what our local statute, that's currently what it says right now.
Right,
That
that's
part
what
will not
the
be
city ordinance
amended. Yep.
says. My question is, does the state narrow it down to that specific mileage reimbursement, or does the state narrow it down to, or expand it to expenses for volunteers, which is the definition of a stipend?
Right. So the state, through the Attorney General's opinion, narrows it down to travel expenses.
Okay.
So it says, or I should say, maybe a better way of saying that is, it takes this bundle called travel expenses and says this is not compensation as referred to in state law. This is a separate thing, and this is allowed.
Yeah, because the and it probably would define the definition of, since it's not broad and say travel expenses as mileage reimbursed by federal government standards, which the question would be is, is if the city ordinance says that you get $100 a month for travel expenses, that's travel expenses by their definition. So whether you drive 200 miles or 10 miles or, not just the mileage you drive, but the wear and tear on your vehicle going to some of these places and things. But I agree with Vice Chairman Jones too, is are you spending more money are you spending more time and resources on something, trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist to begin with? And because I don't even know where this money is coming from out of the budget that pays us, but it's a set fee, so it's a budgetary item with fluctuations of mileage and stuff, because I wouldn't bother I wouldn't bother to fill the form out to track all my mileage and stuff, because I may go to some place and look at a property, and I may go to lunch somewhere else, and I'm not gonna.
It's a lot of math.
Yeah, I'm not gonna discern that and write my odometer time down all the time. And if it's really a budget expense, if it comes out of the budget, you can take my $100 and you can use it to reduce residential property tax or give the planning and zoning people that are short staffed a raise. That's my opinion.
Can I ask the question real quick?
A quick one.
And what brought this to light? Exactly. What was it? It was like some kind of who made the thing to, hey, we should review this?
Commissioner, I'm trying to think back because I don't remember exactly how this was raised. I believe a question was presented from the Treasurer's Department, but I realize I'm on the record, but I'm not 100% sure. It was just, I know at one point it was brought to my attention, and we looked at it and we go, yeah, state law does say that. And as we look at it, $100, regardless of mileage driven, we view that as compensation rather than reimbursement. And it was our concern that we were not in compliance with state law under the current payment policy.
So it came from the accounting or CFO tree?
Again, I do not remember the specific individual or how it was brought up. It was, again, I don't even remember if someone popped in my office first and said, hey, start looking at this, or by email, but it was sometime around end of last year.
Okay.
All right, so we have three choices. One is to approve the recommendation, two is to recommend denial, and the third one is to do a holdover to get some more information up to 60 days, correct?
I'll add one more, Mr. Chair. You can also recommend approval with amendments.
Okay.
Amendments to the amendments.
All right, thank you. So any other questions, or does anyone comfortable making a motion? Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, I make a motion to deny. Is that what we're going to call it? Denial?
Recommend denial.
Ordinance clarifying the existing code provision that authorizes mileage reimbursement for the Planning Commission.
All right, motion's been made to recommend denial of the of ordinance clarifying the existing code provisions that authorize mileage reimbursement for the Planning Commission, made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Ernst?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. And discussion, Commissioner Miller, or were you trying to do the second?
I was going to jump in and make one comment because I thought about making a motion with an amendment, and I was going to see if the maker of the motion and the second will bear with me on this. But the current ordinance says each member of the Planning Commission shall receive $100 each month for mileage reimbursement for the use of his vehicle in the performance of his duties. And I wonder if we just instead amend the proposed ordinance from the UG and have it mimic the current ordinance, but have it strike the words mileage reimbursement and replace them with traveling expenses, which is what is used, the term that is used within the AG opinion and the term that is used within the statute. Because it is traveling expenses and not just mileage reimbursement, and send that to the commission so that it says that. That was my only thought. I'm also fine with the pure denial, but just wanted to give that as a thought.
All right, Commissioner Ernst, discussion?
I will yield to his superior wisdom if the maker of the motion agrees as well.
Do you want to withdraw your motion or do you?
No,
wanna-
I don't want to draw it.
You don't want to withdraw. You want to, all right. The maker of the motion wants to continue with the motion for denial at this point. Commissioner Mueller.
Second.
Okay, we already have a second on the motion for denial. So don't need that, but any discussion on the motion for denial? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on the motion for denial.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
The ayes have it.
Sorry, what was that?
The ayes have it. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. Now we'll move on to the last item.
All right, on to the last item. So this is another ordinance amendment. This one is related to other amendments that have been passed in other chapters in this framework that we are calling major events. This arose basically in response to the World Cup coming to Kansas City next month. And it was giving more power to the county administrator's office to make certain changes for a small amount of time, during a time of a major event where there's a large influx of people. I can't remember if we did it by resolution or by memo a couple months ago with creating a alternative route for short-term rentals that would be a license that would go through the business licensing office just for people who wanted to do that for the 90 days. Again, since that was outside the purview of the zoning code, there wasn't any amendment that needed to actually go before the planning commission and voted on. Now, however, there have been several different potential uses or requirements that are in the zoning code right now that the county administrator's office has identified as wanting to include within this major events framework. So again, this would give the county administrator power to waive any or all of the requirements listed within this ordinance, these certain sections at any time during the major event in order, the purpose essentially is to accommodate anything from farmers markets, home occupations, campgrounds.
And that's from May 1st to July 31st, correct?
That's from May 4th to July 31st.
May 4th to July 31st.
Yeah.
Okay.
Additionally, I do want to point out that there is a memorandum that was included in the planning commission packet that also outlines essentially what I said as well, but in writing probably much more eloquently.
All right. Questions for legal counsel? All right. Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Actually, could I ask him a question real quick?
Yes.
I'm
Commissioner
not
Fogelberg.
sure. I kind of, so the World Cup coming for 3 years, I guess. What's the drive to put it in one person's hands and not the county commissioners? I mean, they could see it coming for 3 years, right?
Well, we're already within, I'm assuming we're within the period now, and now it's we've got a short amount of time and we can't do everything by committee in the next 6 weeks.
But this isn't specific World Cup. This is from this point forward for major events,
No.
right?
Right, is that-
I'm misunderstanding that.
Yeah, sorry. And Commissioner Vogelsong, I will back up and I can explain this major events framework a little better. So the major events framework, there are certain conditions in place and the county administrator would have to declare a major event leading up to that event itself. And so one of the metrics we're looking at are a large influx of people well outside of what's normally expected even during what we call like peak tourism season or convention season in Kansas City. So although it doesn't specifically say with the World Cup coming, that's what initiated it in the first place. Now this framework is on the books in case there's something else, that would come up again. But that would be up to the county administrator to determine. And so this is not like an annual, again, this is not like an annual convention comes into town or the Chiefs are in the playoffs or something like that. And we have a large influx. I mean, this is like beyond what's expected on a semi-regular basis.
I'm just a little cynical. We live in a time where one person can divine something and change the rules and do it. And the rest of the world could disagree with that one person, but they still have that power. So I'm just trying to understand it, but anyway, we can go ahead and vote or whatever.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Beth.
This is not defined in the timeline between the World Cup. This is a change for whatever the administrator declares as a major event from now forward.
Yes, that is correct. That if a county administrator were to declare a major event, the ability to waive the requirements listed in here would be
And the
allowed
definition
to
of a
them
major event is by who?
by the county administrator. Now, I probably no,
That's
yeah,
what
I
I
see.
thought.
I probably should have brought in the definition of that. I don't have that right in front of me, but the way it was drafted to address short-term rentals was it has to be done. Well, one of the conditions is that it has to be a large amount of, or a large influx of people well outside of what is regularly expected. And I realize that that may not be a satisfying definition, but it is all, but the county administrator also has to declare it between 52 and 2 weeks beforehand. So it can't just be a snap of the fingers. We're doing this tomorrow.
Declare it.
Declare a major event.
But from what timeline?
From 52 weeks out. So if we can see this coming a year out.
From 52 weeks out?
Yep, up to 2 weeks out. And it can only be for 90 days. That is the other thing too. So this is not, you cannot run a major event
52
indefinitely.
weeks out should give them time. That's almost a year. Should give them time to run it through the commission and proper channels. It's right. That's a long time. That's different than saying, oh, well, everybody's showing up for a world garage sale next week and we have to have things in place, and 52 weeks out is almost a year. Well, we do hotels in less time than that. Okay.
All right. I'm sorry, Commissioner Jones.
Yes. So can we get clarification, confirmation on where the mayor and the commissioners fall in this process? For this ordinance?
Do you have anything? I mean, I can speak. In this process, I am not aware that there was any communication. I was not in communication with the mayor or any commissioners, which is standard protocol. UG employees work through the county administrator's office, and communication then goes to the elected officials that way. But I will defer to Mr. Lucas if there's any other communication I wasn't aware of.
Well, since my time is sunk on my bet, I will chime in. Thanks, Trent.
You're on my list.
So,
That's not a place you want to be.
Commissioner Jones, the vision was, I guess, the Visit KCK are going to put a container over by Nebraska Furniture Mart on their lot. And I guess time wasn't of essence, so that the administrator's office came up with getting with legal to give some flexibility. So that was the initial theme or thinking. And if there's any other things that would pop up, it just gave some quick response. That was the vision.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I guess I will speak to Commissioner Beth's question a little more, and then the context of kind of what initiated this. So even though you presented a concern about, the major event could be declared 52 weeks out, like that is, why would the county minister need that amount of time or why would they need to act this quickly if they have that much time? It really, I think, kind of points more towards how the situation arose, is that it's likely that the UG is not going to be aware of some of these things until we get closer. So it's not necessarily like, anyone was reaching out a year before and said, hey, we're going to put a shipping container in Nebraska Furniture Mart. That could go through a special use permit process. That is an alternative and obviously could be done well within that time. So yeah, to give you a better answer there, a lot of times we are realizing now as the World Cup's coming up, there's a lot of things being thrown at us that if they were to go through the standard planning process, wouldn't happen until the last game's played.
And to also be considered, we're bidding for the final four for men's collegiate basketball. We're bidding for the Super Bowl. So all these things are considered, for consideration that they were thinking. It wasn't from a control standpoint, but I understand your cynicism.
Anything else?
That is all I have. Again, unless we want to talk more about the specifics of what is included within the text. Otherwise, yeah, that's.
I think you've done enough. Any questions for legal counsel or a motion? Okay, seeing no other further clarifications or questions, it is now time for a motion when ready. Y'all were just chattering away a minute ago. There we go. Commissioner Miller.
Move to approve, subject, I guess, to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, motion to approve recommending approval. Is that right? Am I saying it right? The motion is to recommend approval.
Yep.
Of the ordinance 4.6B. Right? All right. Is there a second? All right. That motion dies for lack of a second. Commissioner Beth has a comment. Go ahead.
Or a question, basically, is just like the last ordinance, is there latitude for an amendment to that to limit the definition of what a special event is and a specific timeline of when this authority can be conveyed?
As you look at me, I'm going to look at legal counsel. You tell me.
So the actual definition of a major event is not in the zoning code. It's in chapter 19. So amending that, my answer would be no. However, any sort of amendment related to anything, if you're going to amend the text of there can be an amendment to this text is basically what I'm saying. So
my question, the options, pass it, not pass it, send it back for
well, is there a holdover provision given the timing?
the same provision, holdover provision applies. It's under the Planning Commission bylaws.
Send it back for I don't know, clarification. I don't know what you would call
You
it.
could. It would probably negate anything
I
for
will
this
say,
major
so
event.
yeah, again, I'm in an awkward situation here where I'm serving both as parliamentarian and make the presentation. Putting on my parliamentarian hat, it seems like there is not a lot of time left before.
I'm not speaking for anybody else. I would just
before
be
this.
more
So
comfortable if it was more finely defined. But so the options, pass it, continue it, or not pass it, right?
or make an oral amendment of some sort here.
All right. I'm going to go to Commissioner Miller unless you need a follow-up or a clarification. Commissioner Miller?
No, so my comment was going to be, Michael, can't we just sunset this? I mean, couldn't we just amend it to say it ends December 31st of 2026? I think the issues from what I'm hearing amongst the Planning Commission is we see it for the World Cup, but what about the effects after the World Cup's over? And do we really want this to be something that the county administrator can decide on their own for it? So if we just sunset it to the end of the year or, the end of the World Cup, which I guess if you put like August 31st, doesn't that really solve the problem? And then it allows the UG to come back and say, it worked, it didn't work. Here's how we should do it long term.
Yes, Commissioner Miller, you can certainly make an amendment that includes the sunset clause.
And I'm just saying that from what I'm hearing from the planning commission, I feel like everyone has worries for what's after the World Cup. So if that's really a worry, I mean, if the commission wants this, they're gonna pass it or not pass it, whether we deny it or not deny it. So if we amend it with some sort of sunset, I think it's clear that we want them to look at it further on. If that's what the body's willing to do, then I mean, I'll make the motion on it, but you all tell me, so.
All right, before you do, we're going to go to Vice Chair Jones.
I just want to say I totally concur with Commissioner Miller. And so if he makes that motion, I will gladly second it because I think that's a very, very good compromise so that we know we're not rushing this, but it also satisfies the World Cup.
All right. Other questions or clarifications needed?
I agree that sunset it after the World Cup at some time. It's a good trial time, and if it works.
Okay.
I
All
guess
right, Commissioner Miller, do you have a motion?
well, yeah, Chair Carson, the only thing I was gonna ask is, do we want me to make that as a sunset for, September 30th, or are we fine with me just making it in December for the end of the year? I don't
You
know
are
of
the
any
maker of
other.
that motion, so whatever you feel
Okay.
is good. I think you have the support of everyone here.
I'll move to approve this as amended by the planning committee by inserting a sunset of December 31st of 2026, just so it's easy and I know no other world events happening after the World Cup anyways.
All right, thank you. Motion to amend the recommendation for approval of 44.6B to sunset at December 31st, 2026. Is there a second? Commissioner Jones, that's a second, correct?
A wholehearted second.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Vogelsong,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Ernst.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, both of these recommendations will go to the Board of Commissioners on the 28th, correct, at 5:30? All right,
Yes,
thank you for the record.
Right. And
All right.
Mr. Chair, if I might just say one more thing, again, I appreciate the work that all of the planning commissioners put in each month, and I appreciate our professional relationship, and I hope we can have that continue going forward. And I appreciate you letting me present to you tonight.
We do. Thank you. Is there any other business before us tonight, Rose?
Nope, that is it.
All right, thank you. Will you go ahead and end the recording?